loves, we're back for another paper making session. I'm excited to show you all how we'll make papers with colors. Now I want to say by this time in the process, we've already had several videos, and what I'm doing is I'm showing you paper making that looks like legit paper. It performs like legit paper. You can use it in your collages, in your journals, in your book, in your artwork, and you can feel good about it. And at the same time, I'm leaving out a lot of processes and additives that we would normally be using if we were in the studio making these papers with the traditional materials. So for instance, in order to make paper that fibers and stuff stick in it really good, like our previous Blick paper dupe, there's something called methylcellulose, and methylcellulose is a glue. It's a powdered glue, and you would be putting that in the vat. It's a whole procedure, but when the paper dries, that acts as a binder. So when we did that paper, we weren't using all of that, and so we're using techniques and methods to get us a really beautiful paper, but it's a workaround without compromising or sacrificing the quality of the paper. So today we're going to be working with color papers. We don't want to use construction paper and or color papers that are made from wood pulps and everything, because it's just not going to make a strong paper, and the colors will fade over time because it's really not good binders in there for the colors and what have you, and you just make a paper it's fun, but it looks a bit washed out and it doesn't look like a quality paper like the papers we've been making. So in order to get your papers with color, you really want to use still another good calligraphy paper. So in this case, we're going to be using some of this ceremonial paper that is red, and it's some good paper. It's on good paper. It's on good fiber. So when we go to blend it, we're going to get a nice quality fiber like our calligraphy papers. I have the links for these. The links will be below this video. But you always want to try to use a good quality paper. It almost would serve you to go to a place like Blick and buy a large $5 sheet in colors that you like and bring it back, process it, so that you can get that handmade paper look that you've made with the additives or the inclusions the way you want them. But yet you're not sacrificing the color and the quality of that paper. So I hope that makes sense. Now, you can play around with any papers that you have in your studio, in your home. Like, it's fun to play with those, and I'm not discouraging you from taking construction paper and things like that and tearing it up and using it. And just have fun, because you're experimenting. But I want you to know the difference in the papers and the fibers. I think it's really important for us to have this conversation, because there's a lot more that would go into this in terms of products. But what I'm doing is coming up with the simple, like the dollar store version, like the simplest supplies and techniques to get us a quality paper that you would maybe go to Blick and buy. So that's what we're doing here. So I just wanted to take the moment to share that. What we're going to do next, we're going to come down to the table. I already have some of this, torn up. It's good to tear it. And we're going to blend it, and we're going to make some paper with this. Okay, so we're back and we're ready to get started. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this paper that's already been torn up, and we're going to put it in the blender like we have been doing. And sticking to the ratios that you've been filling your blender and now enough with paper that you pretty much know what you're getting. So this is, equivalent to 2 sheets. So fiber is nice and beaten. Let's see, we have a nice bit here. Pour that all in. And that doesn't want to go on there nicely, so we're just going to put it to the side. So Here we have our paper, so let's just go ahead and scoop like we normally do. See, we have a nice vibrant red there. Now, of course, if you wanted to put inclusions in here, you could. All the things that we've already been doing, we can do. A sponge. But right now, I'm just showing you how to take the paper and make a nice sheet that's got the color in it. So let's pull another one of those. And you can just put this on repeat, just, you know. So you can look around in your art supply stores, as long as the paper is made with cotton. Sometimes the Canson papers that you can buy have color. And if you have nice art papers, like if you have good papers that maybe you've had in your studio for a while, that have some cotton fiber content to it, that kind of thing, you can work with those. Just try to stay away from the wood pulp papers because you're not going to get the same results. But if you have a load of papers that just sitting around and you say, I want to just try these, go ahead and try them. Put them in the blender, have at it, and just see what you end up getting from them, and just make notes on what papers worked and really had this nice, beautiful consistency, and which ones looked kind of like, you know, the paper towel papers. We don't really want that kind of chunky, not really distributed. You can see how smooth our papers and fibers are. They're just nicely integrated in there, and that's what you want. You can almost see through and see how those fibers are laying in a nice crisscross pattern. If you see through where the light is showing, that's what you're getting with handmade papers. We're not getting like clumps of fiber. Alrighty, so that is us making some paper with our color papers, and just have fun. Add inclusions and different things to them. All right, see you soon. Happy Saturday, everyone. So we are back continuing in our mudlarkers deck. Every week it's just getting thicker and thicker, and just more, just the images as they grow is just so much fun. So today we are working with the handmade papers that you just saw me make. We were working with adding color to our paper. So in that video I did explain all the reasons and whys and what you use and everything like that. So if you're coming apart on this part of the video, because I know I have timestamps on here, so if you're just coming to the collage part and don't quite understand what's going on with the paper, go back to the beginning of the video where we're showing the process. So the paper that we made using the red ceremonial paper is more a pink color, right? Because it's a 2-ply color, so you have white on one side, you have red paper on the other side, and of course that's going to make a pink, right? So that's why it's lighter than the original red. If you use just a solid paper, as we've talked about, it'll dry pretty much the color of that paper. Sometimes it's a little lighter. So then on Patreon we did color mixing with that same pulp and came up with variations on the color. And for those of you who follow me over there, you've seen how, or you're seeing how we've done this. We're having a lot of fun with it. And for those of you who aren't on Patreon and would like to know more about the processes, and you know, we do a deeper dive in Patreon. Of course, it's not easy to do that same dive here on YouTube, but we're doing a deeper dive. But certainly what I'm showing you here is easy. So many of you who aren't following me but on Patreon, but have started making the paper and showing me your paper, you're doing some amazing stuff. So hats off to you. I decided that I wanted to use some more of this paper for sure. I like the bright red. And I also, because we always start with the mudlarking. So I had these 3 rusted bottle caps, and I wanted to use those. So I built the rest of the the pieces that I was going to use around those bottle caps. So I like the stark, you know, contrast of the red with the rust. And since that was the foundation of the papers that I wanted to use, I just wanted to have a nod to using this paper. So I figured it, you know, a size about, you know, 3.5 inches. And I was working back between that, and then I ended up using this color, which I love it, and it just works in so nicely with the red and the rust. And that's the beauty of making your own papers, because you can color your papers so that they all work together. And I show that, you know, when we made more papers in Patreon, how you can continue to color mix pulp the same way you basically color mix paint. So you get these ranges of color, and all the colors are going to work together because they come from initially the same source. So I really love this, and I thought that it gave it the right sort of neutral palette to work in with the rusted bottle caps, and at the same time it didn't fight with the red. And so gluing those two down, but before I got started, of course, I activated the surface with the white Posca pen, doing my European old world script, I call it. And you know, you're only going to see bits and pieces of it, but that, you know, it's just getting some backgrounds down so that as we continue to build up, it's just not the, you know, the plain paper. And so we can still see bits and pieces of it there. So once I got the main backing pieces down, I was playing around with this piece of antique Japanese book page, and it was this little red circle that really caught my eye. And since I was working with the red, I liked that little red circle, so I decided just to tear that piece off and use it as a strip that would go down and sort of juxtapose the red and just be that little nod to it. And it also repeats the circle of the bottle caps as well. And so for me, it's always just this idea of repeating either values, textures, shapes, and it's really unconscious, you know. That's why I always call it intuitive collage. It's a lot like my intuitive scripting. I've just been doing it long enough now that it seems like my eye, if I just allow myself to just be in that space of intuition and not controlling it, it's amazing how much it's like the unconscious mind will pick up and organize. And it's not until I come back and look at it, I'll see all these little things, and I'm like, you know, some of it was conscious, like the red circle. I consciously thought about that against the red, but I didn't think about it against the bottle caps until after I came back and looked at it. So it's neat how when you just allow yourself to get into the spontaneity of collage, how you'll start noticing those consistencies, and you'll think, wow, I don't think I would ever thought about it like that. You know, it's really cool. So I knew that I wanted to use this, but I also wanted something that would bridge the gap between the red and the handmade paper. And I had some of this lace paper that I had stained in the Tamashii Bundles class, a course that we did. It was my birthday celebration course, and I think I've made that one live again. I need to check. But it was a course we did. We were making bundles and staining them, and then all these bundles, and then you let them dry. And when you dry and then you open them up, oh, the stuff that is in there to use in your work is just beyond. So this was some of that paper. It started out white. So it pretty much, I have a piece here. It looks like this, white. And then when you go into the staining process that I show in that course, you just get some really beautiful staining, but yet you still have this really nice wispy sort of gossamer paper that I love. So I found a piece of that, and the bit of the yellow cream tones with, of course, the dark, the black, just gave it the right amount of contrast, and it just worked in nicely with the color palette, and it just allowed just enough of that red to pop through, to be there and be seen, but not overpowering, because I still wanted to have a very organic, somewhat natural palette. And so pushing it back and allowing that red to pop through this lace paper was just perfect. So that went down. And of course, it still reveals some of the old world scripting. And then I knew I was putting the bottle caps down, so I was getting ready to put those down, and they looked a bit empty. And I was thinking, what do I want to put in there? And then it hit me to use some of the same paper, so it has this idea of sort of going down in a row, but not exactly, because it's broken up. And so the eye visually sort of sees this line of text, you know, but it's not exact. It's not, it's a little bit more wabi-sabi. And so I thought that was a perfect element to put in the bottle caps, because I wanted to still see the rusted, the aged, the weathered, feeling that comes from the found objects, from mudlarking, from all of that. But at the same time, I wanted to be able to have a little something in there that tied into the collage and added interest. I did have it extend off of the edge of the page, so the paper, just to expand the edge. And I did that all in a number of these, where you'll find that I like, extending things off of the actual edges of the cards. I think it just adds a bit more to the organic nature, so it doesn't just seem like they're all just stopping right within a frame. You have bits and pieces that you allow to go off the edges, sort of the deckled edge and what have you. So there we have it, another one of our mudlarking cards. And let's see, because in the order that it goes in, it would be after this one. So let's just do a little flip. Flips are nice because it helps us to see how they're unfolding and what the color palettes are looking like. So I'll do it like this. Out the way. And then this is starting our next grid. And what's interesting about this is we see how it's progressing. And I move back and forth between neutrals and color. So you'll notice that in my work. It seems to kind of like go in an ebb and flow. And so I forgot about this little bit of red. But isn't that funny how this one is red and rust and this one is red and rust? It must be something about that in my mind's eye where I do that. And so, of course, we had some of the orange there. Yeah, so this is looking good. A little collection of cards coming along. So anyway, there we have it. Another session in our mudlarkers journey, and I'm having so much fun with this, and I'm really having fun showing you all the different ways that we can make handmade paper. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys are really enjoying the process of learning them. And I think it's next week's video that we're going to, no, the week after next, I think it is, we're going to be doing this paper here. So it's coming up. Okay, well, I think that's everything. So once again, thank you for hanging out with me and being on this journey, and most importantly, sharing your work over in our Facebook group. For those of you who are new to the channel, I have a private Facebook group, Clarity Through Color. The link is below. Just, ask to join, answer just a couple of quick questions about, like how you found me, or what, what the community would mean to you, stuff like that. Just, and then come on, and then we approve you and come on in. And there's so much sharing there. People are posting the most amazing things. the artists. We have close to 3,000 people in that community, and it's an active community too. People are constantly putting things up in there. Artists, I say people, but you know, artists, creators. And I just enjoy going through it. So please join us there. You can just be a voyeur and not ever post your things and just enjoy watching other people's. You can post, you know, it's no rules to how you engage. Just ask that you come in and enjoy yourself. So I've really been enjoying seeing your cards there. And then many of you I follow on Instagram. I'm seeing your things there. It's just blowing my mind. So what a journey. If you're new to the channel as well, please hit the bell and hit all so you get all the notifications. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up because it helps others like ourselves find each other in this community of YouTube. And I guess that's everything. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Just so much love to all of my creators that I'm hanging out with right now over in Premiere. So if you ever want to just hang out on a Saturday morning with us, we have a very active community. Normally there's about 30 or more of us over there from all over the globe. So you may meet somebody who lives near you in your hometown or your home country, and we just chat it up and we have a good time. So when the notification comes up, you hit Premiere, you hit notify me, and then YouTube will notify you normally about a half an hour before the Premiere starts, because I get asked that question a lot. How do I join you in Premiere? So basically you just want to hit notify me, and then from there you're notified, and then it'll open up the chat for you. Alrighty, I guess that's everything. Love you guys so much. Take care. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you again next Saturday. Bye bye. Lots of love from my studio to yours.